Live from the Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, this is KCAL 9 News at 4.
Breaking news now, a major development for LAUSD students. The teachers union says it's just reached a tentative agreement to return to the classroom full-time in the fall. The deal includes standards for mask wearing, COVID-19 testing, and other safety measures like ventilation and cleaning. Union members still have to ratify the deal. LAUSD's school year ends tomorrow.
Welcome news for a lot of families out there for sure. Well, for districts all over Southern California, the most complicated school year we've ever witnessed is finally winding down.
In this next half hour, we're taking a deeper dive into the summer slide. How do you keep your children from losing what they've learned during the school year, and what kind of safety options are out there for activities? A parent survey from the University of Phoenix found a lot of concerns after months of online and hybrid classes. 54% are worried about the social aspects of learning.
44% of parents are concerned about access to social services that were provided in school, and 60% think their children may have fallen behind academically. We spoke to parents and teachers in Orange County and the Inland Empire today to see what they have planned to keep those young minds sharp.
I still think reading is probably the best learning tool, and just kind of having a summer to be normal and typical kids.
One book, a child can keep that book so precious for the whole summer. My daughter has one book she has. To her, it's like her whole life, that book. Every day she looks at it, she looks at the pictures, you're learning colors, you're learning letters, you're learning sounds, you're learning everything. We're all working, right? You don't have time for your kids, you can get that extra $5 and provide books for the students at school.
And joining us now with more insight, Catherine Augustine with the Rand Corporation and Andrea Green, a third grade teacher at St. Genevieve Elementary School in Panorama City.
Thank you both for being with us this afternoon.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, well, Catherine, we're going to start with you. Given what children have experienced in the last several months, how is this year's summer slide different from previous ones?
Well, it's been longer than a summer, right? At Rand, we just released a survey last week of teachers throughout the country, and we asked them how much content they'd covered in this past year. And it really depended on whether they were teaching in person or remotely or in a hybrid fashion. And those who were teaching entirely remotely covered less content. And I know that's the case in a lot of places in California. So kids haven't learned as much this year. Now, how we address that and how concerned we are different questions, but it is a fact that kids have learned less over this past year on average.
That is definitely something that resonates with me. I had a hybrid situation and I felt like I could just get through the bare minimum and wasn't going that extra level like the teacher can in the classroom. So Andrea, I'll ask you this. What are some tips that you have for parents this summer to keep their kids both active and continuing to learn and maybe make up for some lost time?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny that you asked that because I just sent home my summer learning packet with my parents today. But I am really encouraging reading with my kids this summer. I'm encouraging them to read 20 minutes a day. And I think reading is one of the most powerful tools for success. We know students that read frequently have higher test scores, have stronger vocabularies. So I am really hoping that they get through a few chapter books this summer. And also just encouraging them we live in such a technological age, encouraging them to stay up to date on their math apps and play Prodigy and Math Bingo and those games that they enjoy doing and have kind of adapted to using during the pandemic. I'm encouraging them to continue to use those tools.
Technology is so great. When I was a student, of course, you'd go home for the summer with that reading list, Serene, and you'd roll your eyes. You're like, it's summer. I just want to go to the beach, have fun. I don't want to read. But I can see now, especially with this possible summer slide, how important it is to stay on top of the reading list. Well, Catherine, back to you now. How can summer programs, now that we're speaking of summer, help this year especially, and what are schools and districts doing to prepare for them?
Well, in addition to what Andrea has done in terms of providing reading packets for the summer and tips and what the parents you interviewed are planning to do with having their kids read, yes, there are actual summer programs being put on by more districts and more schools this summer than has been the case in the past. There's more funding for those programs now. And the programs that they are planning are, for the most part, the ones I'm aware of, can be really exciting and fun for kids and involve reading and involve math and also involve fun activities like flag football. They're planning in Atlanta. I was just talking with them today. And water polo, swimming, horseback riding in some cases, sailing in some cases. So it's an opportunity to get kids outside and active. And for many, they won't have had that for a while, as well as provide a focus on academics.
And Andrea, are parents, in your experience, seeking out options for children, or are you encouraging those kids to attend special programs or just kind of supplement what they can at home?
I think it kind of depends on a school by school situation. I know some schools are encouraging summer school for those students that need extra academic support. I personally am just really encouraging my parents to develop that social emotional learning. I think we really missed out on that during the pandemic. So as the world starts to open up a little bit more, I hope that the kids have opportunities to interact with other children and be around their friends. I think that probably took the biggest hit, in my opinion. So I'm encouraging them to take those measures.
Andrea, I've got a couple of questions for you. Number one, can students make up for this lost time? And also, after all the stress of this past year, how are you feeling? How are your co-teachers feeling? Are you burned out? Well, what's going on?
So to answer your first question, I think they can. I mean, we truly don't give kids enough credit. They are incredibly resilient and they can rebound back from pretty much anything. So I think that, yes, we'll have to work extra hard in the year or years to come, but I personally am not worried about it. I think that these kids are capable of anything. And for me personally, I'm definitely feeling the burnout. I know for myself and for some of my fellow coworkers, we're excited to recharge a little bit this summer and come back even stronger in the fall. But it's been a year for the books. It truly has.
And Catherine, I'll ask you a question. You know, all teachers, parents, we all just kind of want to take a break, reconnect. And as you mentioned, that is so important. But at some point, teachers have to start getting back to work. How are teachers being encouraged to work this summer, and how far in advance do they really need to start preparing for the next academic year?
Well, there's certainly more encouragement for teaching in summer programs this summer than there has been in the past. There are entire states like North Carolina that are providing extra bonuses for teachers who teach in the summer. And as I said, I was talking with Atlanta earlier, they're providing childcare for teachers who are teaching in the summer. Those are two measures that aren't typically used. But even prior to this summer programs that made it easy for teachers, provided the curriculum in advance with all of the materials, all of the activities, surrounded the teachers with other adults, those who were supporting students with exceptionalities or students who were learning English, as well as social workers and counselors. And I absolutely agree with Andrea that there should be more of a focus on social and emotional learning in these programs, and responding to mental health needs and giving kids time and space to be with each other and maybe even reflect upon this past year and talk with each other about it. All of that would be done in age-appropriate ways, of course, but also, if a teacher can teach only half day, let's say a teacher just teaches math and then goes home, teaches 2 classes of math and then goes home, and isn't expected to do any planning for the summer program, and save that, like you said, for planning for the school year, it might be more attractive for teachers than it otherwise would be.
Very good. Well, the good thing that we're all learning here together is that things are looking on the upside, right?
Yes.
Right, Serene? Things are looking definitely very positive. Catherine, we thank you for your expertise. And Andrea, thank you for sometimes that very thankless vocation that you have with this teaching. We really appreciate what you do.
We do. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that as well, and being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you,
great
ladies.
summer. Enjoy.
Get some rest. Still ahead here at 4, we'll dive into summer camps since we're on the subject. What are your options now that they're reopening with new protocols?
And after years of studying mixed with a global pandemic, UCLA grads get a proper send-off. That's next.